Hello, everybody out there, all of our Level Up cohort. We are excited to jump in today. We're going to hear from Becky. We're going to hear from Jennifer. We're going to hear from Charlie. So there is a lot of expertise and fun and joy that's going to go into today. So thank you for spending some time with us this morning. All right. So it's October. I can't believe it, but here we are. And thank you guys for sticking with us as we are rolling through the courses. A quick reminder, like we do every webinar, this is relevant for now. So all of the suggestions, all of the statistics are relevant for October 2025. If you were to have any questions about coloradogives.org, just a reminder, your first action is to email support@coloradogives.org. All right. So just to give us an idea of where we are now, we've completed a good amount of coursework so far, lots of knowledge to absorb, action items, and our next webinar will be in November 12th. And that's going to prepare you for thanking donors. So what happens after Colorado Gives Day? But for today, we're going to talk social media. Taking a look at the calendar in the new year, just remember that you have a break December and January. And that's, of course, a break for vacation purposes and to give you a little bit of a rest, but also hopefully for you to start assessing and synthesizing your data and what kind of happened for Colorado Gives Day and year end. All right. So just a reminder, folks, as far as like program expectations as we head into the busy season, if as much as you can, please attend these Zoom webinars live. And most of you are. And if you aren't, you're giving either me or Becky a heads up, which is super appreciated. So thank you guys. We, of course, are rocking and rolling in Canvas, and Becky will give you an update on that here in just a moment. And then just a reminder for everybody, I'm going to be, oops, sorry. Go ahead and mute. There you go. Is it okay? Great. Just a reminder for everybody that this is the time, October, if you haven't already, to embed your donation form. I'm going to do a first check within the next week or so and be emailing everybody to make sure that they have everything they need to get that 1K match for Colorado Gives Day for December 9th. All right. I wanted to just say here, this is what I was thinking about when I was making these slides, that we can't predict the future. And so while we are taking a look at your engagement, how much you can attend the webinars live, we know that this landscape is shifting for nonprofits everywhere. So I just wanted to acknowledge that as changes come your way, or there's shifts within roles or your job, just keep continuing to communicate with Becky, give her a heads up within Canvas, as well as you can always email me to give me a heads up as well. And just wanted to say that, you know, together we can keep moving forward at a pace that's comfortable for you, and with goals that are achievable for you this year and within your role. So just wanted to say, just keep us posted, and we know that there's a lot going on right now. Okay, and again, a quick reminder on the program rewards for the Level Up cohort 2025, 2026. So as long as you're embedding your form by or before November 1st, and this is embedding it, so the form is on your external website, you are eligible for $1,000, which will be live during the 24 hours of December 9th for you. There is going to be an additional match amount for attendance. That, of course, will be finalized as we see the spread of who receives the embeddable form match. And just another reminder, and I know I talk about it in other webinars leading up to Colorado Gives Day, but you're also encouraged, if you're not already, to be identifying your own matches, your own matching grant funds, because that's going to drive you through what this is, a marathon, November 1st through end of year giving, right? And so if you can identify businesses or major donors that would be able to present a matching grant amount, use it to your advantage to encourage folks to give. Okay, And what I've been seeing as I've been chatting with a couple of you and taking a look at your websites is that you are still connecting your donate button on your website to a coloradogives.org link. So it's heading back to your donation form or your organization page. So just a reminder that that does not qualify you for that 1K match. You need to embed the form, so copy paste that embeddable code and put it on your external website. And if you need any help, we are here for you. So please raise your hand if that's the support you need right now. Okay, we're done with my checklist. On to the agenda for today. So first, we want to make sure that you guys are up to date on what's happening, what happened in the Certificate of Fundraising Copywriting course, and any upcoming reminders. We saw a lot of great activity, and so Becky will give us a recap of that. And then Becky will be sharing some quotes and updates from Canvas and all the great work that you've been doing. We're then going to hear from Jennifer, which I'm so excited about, and she's going to share her personal story of growth that really probably was initiated or helped through this program. And then for today's learning objectives, so the good stuff, we are going to be reviewing the objectives. We have a lot of example posts that are incredible and available for you today. And then we're going to get into social media, so how-tos, including just content collection, technical requirements, and the basics of setting up and running a strong campaign. So let's buckle up and dive in. Okay. So here we are, causing a stir with social media. So amplifying your impact for Colorado Gives Day. All right, and with that, I'm going to hand it over to Becky. Would you mind just giving us a recap of copywriting course and then, of course, some of these wonderful quotes?
I'm really so excited to see everybody. I was scrolling around to see everybody's pictures because it's so amazing to put a name with the face. And we've been staring at your names since May right now. So we feel like we know you so well, but then to see the face, it makes it feel a little more homey to me. So don't worry about the Hemingway slide just yet. I just want to go over a few deadlines with you, just remind you what's coming, and then first share gratitude for Colorado Gives Foundation, of course, because you get to do this incredible class, and then we get to hang out with you in the discussion forums and talk about philanthropic psychology and copywriting and all the good stuff. I also want to tell you, every time I send you an email and tell you it's okay, we really do mean that. There is so much going on. And for a lot of us, we start thinking about end of year. Well, for me, at the end of June. As soon as it's July 1, I know the schools say back to school or the stores say back to school, but I'm ready thinking holidays and Christmas and end of year. So hang in there with us. And I echo Jordan, shoot us an email, give us a phone call, let us know if you need help, extensions, whatever you need. We are here for you. That is my job, to be here for you every day, all day. So keep it coming. And I can't wait to jump into the chat with you in a little bit. Let me do a couple quick deadlines with you. And I forgot to set a timer, Jordan, so I didn't go too long. I'm sorry.
Oh my
So just
gosh,
wave at
no
me.
worries. You're light years ahead of me. I'm just like, I'm just going to talk, and when it feels right, I'll stop. So appreciate you.
So, so the copywriting, the first 4 weeks of the copywriting class in September, obviously it's October, so they are over. But that doesn't mean that your tutors are not still around. They are still in the forums, checking all the discussions. And I mean it when I say it, that's where the magic happens. You can read and read and read, but the second you put hands to keyboard or pen to paper and start letting that love flow out of your heart, that's where you get to absorb and learn all the beautiful loving goodness of copywriting. So the tutors will be around until October 24th, which that date is magical because that is the deadline for your submission. And when you make your submission, that will help you get the certificate in philanthropic psychology copywriting. I have one. I love mine. It hangs on my wall because I'm so proud of it. And I want you all to have one too. Just a note, if you have or you are running late in the forums, that is okay. Please stay the course, do the best you can. I have a lot of emails I need to respond to where people are asking, what can I do? How can I catch up? Get in there and just start reading. That's my best advice to you, and do what you can to catch up, and we will help you along the way. So my favorite part of things, and I'm sure that Catherine and Jennifer and Wendy and Pauline, your tutors, and Charlie, we're seeing the light bulbs go off. Like you start one way in the forums, and then we can see where the click is, where that connection from your heart to your donor's heart really starts happening. So it is really, really exciting to see that and all of the learning in there. And to that end, now you can show my slide. I had to talk about the Hemingway activity because I did not tutor in this course with you, but I have been tutoring this course with other students, and it is my favorite activity. How can you tell your story in 6 words, right? And when I talk to students about it, we talk about what is your donor? They send you a gift and they put their heart in an envelope or in a keyboard. Here's my heart. I'm so ready to give to you. And now you want to send them back a present, right? And they get this package in the mail and it's a t-shirt and they rip it open and you want to know, what does this t-shirt say about my kind heart and the gift that I made? And I went through the Hemingway activity and I loved everything. And I just wanted to do a few call outs. I'm going to say first names. I am from Cleveland and notorious for mutilating last names. So I'll just stick in that. So here's just a few favorites. I'm going to read them out loud. Caitlin, if you are here today, toilet equity, amazing, amazing 6 word stories. So for her, the Hemingway t-shirt, the first option she gave us was do good. So she always has fun with this. And then the second shirt that she would say is making the world less crappy. I love the edge. I love the cheekiness of it. It's amazing. And then we have, hold on, I gotta pull up my list so I know where everybody's from. Then we have Courtney, and you can guess where she's from. It says human connection is the point. And I love the play on words. I love the song and the heart, like the music, everything's there for me. And I can just picture the ballerina up on point, and then you can tell it's Boulder Ballets. So that is beautiful. Haley, hands in soil, hearts in nature. Stunning. It is stunning. It is beautiful. I would wear that t-shirt and be so proud of it. And Haley is from Thorn Nature. We have Heather. When disaster strikes, I choose humanity. And Heather, I would wear that t-shirt. I think I would wear all these shirts. If I could, I would. And Heather works for Our Front Porch. And then we have Lisa. She works for Access Gallery. And it's a very simple thing. I see the story first. So Lisa's out there telling us, I'm here. I see the story. I care about my community. It was everything I needed. And I have a few more just because we can't fit all my love on one slide and I didn't want 20 slides. So I'm just going to give you a couple more. So we have Erin. She's at Hands of the Carpenter. Her t-shirt would say faith in action, hope on wheels. And I love that, like hope in motion, hope on wheels. You can really, really feel that. Like she's trying to show you hope is not a stagnant thing. It's beautiful. And then we have Hannah. She works at We Cycle, and that's WEE since it's not on the screen. And I love this. It makes my heart happy. I brighten babies' days. We cycle. And it's just so cute and such a perfect little moment. We have Morgan at Senior Support Services who said simply, I stand up for seniors. I do too, Morgan. I do a lot of volunteer work in my community. So I would wear that shirt to encourage seniors to keep volunteering. Andrew works at Running Rivers, and this is among, I think I've said this, another one of my favorites because you all are my favorites. But this one's pretty good. It's making trout native again. So using current phrases that we use and making it yours and making it fun. And I love the edge, and I love that for that one. Elisa from Family Tree, her shirt would say stability, healing, empowerment, because I cared. And it's so powerful. Those are just 6 powerful words that she weaved together, and it is beautiful. Dean at Colorado Youth Bands. This one made me giggle because my sister would wear this. She probably has this shirt. It's band nerd for life. It's perfect because band nerds are band nerds for life. So it's a true statement and something I can get behind. And then the last one, to prove to you, we're still in there. Jesse logged in yesterday. Thank you, Jesse, for logging in and tackling Hemingway. She's at the Legal Aid Foundation of Colorado, and her shirt would say, equal justice, under attack, fight back. And that is a statement that gave me goosebumps. So that was amazing. Again, the last thing I'll say, stay the course, work the content, share in the discussions. We are all here for you to get through. If you have any questions or need anything, please reach out. Jordan and I are here to help you and make sure you succeed and have an incredible Colorado Gives Day filled with love. With that, Jordan, I'll pass it back to you.
Awesome. Well, I was inspired. Who knew I could feel something in like 6 words for a trout? I mean, my husband's a big fisher, but it's not the warm, fuzzy fish that you might expect. So I love that. Thank you for sharing. And now we're passing it over to Jennifer. We'd love for you to just hear her story because it's super inspiring, but also because you've been engaging with her throughout this course. So you know her. She's one of you. So Jennifer, I'd love for you to hop in and say hi.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm so honored to be here and just be talking with all of you. I want to be your biggest cheerleader. That's what I'm here for. I took this course and a couple of years ago, and I came in with a little chip on my shoulder. Honestly, I had a bit of an ego, like I'm a writer. I've been writing for a long time. I don't need this. And I was blown away. Like I really was handed my humility because it changes everything. Like when you start thinking about how to interact with your supporters and donors, it just changes everything. But I want to add that at this point in the year, I was feeling very overwhelmed. I had my end of year coming, and I was looking down the barrel of that and also had the coursework to do. And so this is why I'm your cheerleader. I want to encourage you because it really isn't about whether you're the best writer or whether you do everything perfectly. It's really just about taking the small steps right now to make one change, one pretty significant change, maybe you change your landing page or your email communications. It's pick one and then develop a plan going forward for the year ahead, learn using what you've learned in this course. So don't get overwhelmed with there's a lot. You've learned a lot in this course and throughout this process. So what I really want to encourage you to do is take what you've utilized, put it in action one or two places, and then come up with a strategic plan for the year ahead. It really, really makes a difference. And like I said, you don't have to be an excellent writer. You just have to speak to someone's heart. That's what we're talking about here. It will set you ahead of other organizations that aren't doing the same, that are still internally focused. And what we're asking you to do is externally focus on who are your supporters and why are they going to engage? Because they won't if you don't speak to who they are as a person. Another thing I want to actually tell you about is with that sustainable plan going forward, I have a bit of a different situation. I'm actually a contract development person, so I have multiple clients, but I want to encourage you that this makes a huge difference when you have a strategic plan. So you start now, you'll see things shift. And then with your strategic plan going into the future, they will shift incredibly. So I'm going to use one client. I pulled up for this one client, the social and our other outreach for the past year, since last end of year to this end of year. We have 643,000 views this year compared to last year where we had not that, a lot less than that. We are up in just 3-second views, 3.7 thousand for this one client. 1-minute views are up 1.3 thousand. Content interactions, we have 7.6 thousand content interactions and are up 1.2 thousand views. And then our longer term views are even more than that. So this kind of shift that you're learning about through psychology and philanthropic psychology, it is a game changer. So that's why I want to cheerlead you. I want to tell you that I've seen your work throughout this course. It is incredible. And even watching the progression from a we focused to a you focused language, it's just beautiful. Like sometimes when I'm using your work, I'm tearing up. I'm like, ah, stop already. um, and knowing that I came in like you and where we've come since then, it's just um, it's really amazing, and I just want to encourage you to keep going. That's pretty much all. And I love the course so much. I wish everyone in the world could have it. And I will say one more thing. This course has impacted not just my job. It has impacted my interactions with people. It has impacted I write for fun, and it has impacted the way I tell story, because I no longer look at as what story do I want to tell, but what story do people want to hear? What story speaks to their heart? Because that is what makes someone want to read your creative writing. That is what someone, I was talking to Jen yesterday, and I said, I want to it changes how I interact with my daughter, because it's not about what I want from my daughter. It's what does my daughter want for herself? What does your supporter want for themselves? And it's really changed how I interact with the world. So it goes far beyond what you're doing here. And it does that for your supporters as well. And that's really all I have to say.
Oh my
Keep
gosh.
going. You got
Jennifer
it.
for president. That's amazing. Thank you. And one more question that, I mean, you can tell that you're speaking from the heart, that it truly did change you. And I've heard the same from other nonprofits. I want to know, how do people get involved if possible? And then Denver Mile High Writers Workshop. That seems cool.
We are a nonprofit. So I
Nice.
started my own nonprofit. Honestly, I started out of a place of, I was in a pretty significant depression after losing a family member. And I felt kind of alone. I write from home, so I was really insular. So I started the workshop to kind of meet my people that want to speak to people's hearts. So we meet every Tuesday night from 7 to 10 p.m. In person at the historic Grant Avenue Community Center. And we also have a virtual component. So if you're not local, you can jump on through, we have a Discord server, and there's a website, milehighwriters.org. And if you are a creative writer and would like to come share your writing, I would love, we are read and critique writers workshop. So you might have to steel yourself the first couple of times to read your work aloud, but you've been in this course, so you're used to getting feedback. So if you're a creative writer, I'd love to have you come join us.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jennifer. And as you can see in the chat, I think everybody's really moved by all the different ways, and also just how you explain gave me goosebumps about the course. So thank you.
I love this course. Honestly, I'm here because I love not just what it does for communications, but I really do love what I was in your shoes, and I try not to get emotional. I was in your shoes. It really has made a huge difference in the way I interact with people through my work. And I really do think about now, my supporter, when they look at what all of your organizations do, such important work. It's so important. And there are people out there who want you. They want to be impacting the world the way you are, and they want to do that. They don't know how, and you're teaching them how to do that through giving. And you have to speak to their heart to do that. So I really love this course. So thank you. Thank you for letting me talk to you and be part of this.
Thank you. We love having you, and I'm just so inspired by you and your story. So thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So with this, and thank you again, Jennifer, I believe we're going to hand it over to Becky or is it Charlie to take a little bit of information about what we're going to talk about today?
Hi, everybody. I think everyone knows me from the email course, so we'll go right past that. Charlie, Jarrett, and you can find me on LinkedIn if you have any follow-up questions. I should be able to do everything in Canvas in the assignment, but just in case you forget something and there's some last-minute tips you need during end of year, I'm out there. So we're going to look at donor acquisition and stewardship. We went over a lot of that already in the email because you need people to email, but we are going to do a little bit just to recap and give a couple more tips on that. Content strategy. I know this is really content. You're going to hear a lot of it, but that's really, you have to feed the content beast. It is nonstop. So we'll go over a little bit of that. And we have resources to collect it all ahead of time so you're not scrambling. Campaign optimization. So getting Colorado Gives Day out there and really trying to do it in the best way possible. And then looking at the different platforms, I think we're really focusing on Facebook because I know that's going to be a platform that everyone has. But if there are anything else, if you're focusing anywhere else that you've really found people are connecting, like if you have a Discord, that there's some great tips for connecting there that be really happy to chat about in the assignment work. And then we're going to look at a really specific roadmap so you know exactly what to do starting tomorrow. So to look ahead, so you know what to capture from this and for the discussion forum, we're going to create at least one post for Colorado Gives Day, explain where you're going to post it, and that can be more than one place for sure, and why it will be effective for your audience specifically based on what you've learned today. Okay, content, I'm gonna say it over and over again. We'll be reviewing this. Ultimately, all social media relies on having great content, and that can mean a lot of things, but it's obviously all related to your mission and connecting with your donors and connecting them to each other. So I know that there were some technical requirements, and this will be in the assignment work as well, so you can review if you haven't had time. I know we're all super busy. As is the way with nonprofit, we wear many hats, but looking at your social accounts set up properly, your ad accounts so that you can boost posts because it's a pay-to-play, sadly, way of the future. Do you have proper admin access? So you want to be able to like test and look at everything. All that document walks you through, and are your audiences ready to go? Oh, nope. Go away. Sorry, everyone.
I don't know. I don't hate it.
little music. Did you get a small budget? Please, especially for like the day before Colorado Gives Day, and I don't know if you can hear that buzzing. It's nonstop. We're always needed somewhere. Did you get a small budget? If you can even if you can get $50, it's going to make a big difference to get your post seen because as we'll go over, only 2 to 5% of your organic audience actually gets your post. So really important to get it up there. Okay, we're going to go over when you want to post, what you want to post. We've talked about that, ask, advocate, acknowledge, and along with algorithm for social media especially, who, and like I said, only 2 to 5% of your followers. So you really need to do some targeted if you're going to get some real visibility. That's important. You want to be on many platforms as you can. You don't want to be spread too thin. If your audience is only in one place, that's great. Places where your donors are likely to be, so knowing your demo. Why, like new donors need to come from somewhere, so looking at that, and we need to nurture those relationships and finding new people. Social media is a lot about that's really where it's at, getting new people and nurturing those relationships. And how? Through planning, consistency, and we're gonna hopefully take away the how. Okay. All right. So firstly, social media is social. You think you can just post something and that is it. And that is just not how it works. You have to interact. You have to listen and respond. You have to be proactive. Don't just wait for engagement. Seek out those conversations with how you're doing your posts. It's a little bit challenging because you have to know people are going to react. Otherwise, it can be a little awkward. So if you are going to do something where you're like, comment or like, do something in the comments, you have to make sure at least 4 staff members are going to respond to get the conversation going. Unless you know it's a bit, a really high topic that people will engage on, but it can be really challenging. We'll go over a couple examples of that. Build your community. Social media thrives on relationships. Oh, sorry. 1 second. My phone won't turn off. Of course. Okay. And that's, yes, sorry. I think I got it. Build community, be consistent. I think.
And this
I'm
is
gonna
where
pass it back to you. Yes.
Yeah, and so this is where I hop in. And so we were chatting about learning objectives. Thank you, Charlie. Because there's a lot to consider with social media. I'm just here to pop in and remind you about the resources that already exist related to coloradogives.org. So just a reminder that in the toolkit that has been released, you have social media templates, both English and Spanish this year. So we listened to you and expanded what we were translating, and also that's reflected in the images as well. Make sure that you're heading to the toolkit. That link goes directly to the social media templates, and check them out, because that's going to really help get you jump started for Colorado Gives Day campaigns.
No.
Let's go ahead and make sure everybody's muted. Okay, great. All right, so just a couple of things I wanted to note.
Okay.
Hold on 1 sec. Can someone go ahead and mute who's ever unmuted? Okay. Sorry about that, folks. So what is trending right now? I needed to ask myself this question before the webinar today, because I'm on social media right now, but I've also cut myself back a little bit, right? There's a lot going on. And so when I engage in social media, I want to feel joy. I want to feel calmness. I want to feel good. And there's a lot of not good out there. And so I thought it'd be nice to give you some content ideas to make people feel good when they're logging on and engaging with you. So some different trends that are popular on social media outlets. Short form videos. So that's something that was mentioned already by Jennifer. So she's seeing incredible engagement and shift in short-term videos that she's sending out there on social media channels. Also, I thought this was interesting when we take a look at of course I can't say that word, virality and trend jacking. That really means that you can take a look at what's going on out there, and you can say, all right, how can I mimic that for my organization? So is it fast moving sounds? Because that's going to capture my attention on a feed. Is it funny memes that all people are familiar with, but that relate to your organization? Or is it a challenge that you're directly talking to folks? So think about the short engagement that you can provide folks to lean on other trends, but make it relative to your organization so you capture more attention. This is one of my favorites, and I think it's so easy to do as long as you're being intentional. When you're thinking about social media, think about creator collaborations. And so I'm not talking like paid influencers. That can be really challenging to execute, and it can be costly. What I'm talking about is what businesses, what community members, what board members could you invite into the conversation on social media? So could you make authentic videos of real people and invite volunteers, donors, and local creators to do something like a day in the life of your organization? So how can you lean on other creators and local folks with big networks to help amplify what you're doing on social media? Of course, this is just a reminder, but also a trend, and specifically for nonprofits. When you're thinking about social media, consider any AI-assisted production. And so what we mean by that, don't panic, we're not telling you to upload data into ChatGPT, but AI does help quickly edit, caption, and help you to brainstorm faster. Maybe you're going into ChatGPT and trying to cultivate a social media post, but you want it to be more humble or more exciting or more urgent. And so sometimes ChatGPT can be a good jumping off point, or AI should say, to help you kind of cultivate the language that you're learning. Live and real-time impact. So when you're considering social media outlets, consider that viewers love seeing actual moments happen. That can mean anything for your organization. Maybe it's feeding the goats in the morning, you know, but of course you might want to tie it to Colorado Gives Day, to your goals, to any matches you've identified. And so go live. Try a live stream this year. I watch them on Instagram all the time, whether it's a celebrity or a content creator that I like. So that might be a way for you to, again, easily, without having to pre-create any content, be able to connect with your audience via live stream. It's as easy as clicking a button because we have the magnificent iPhone now. All right. Another thing you might think about when you're talking social media and planning your content, nostalgia and storytelling. Of course, storytelling, right? But can you work in that nostalgia? I've been seeing a lot of this on my feed, the then versus now moments. So maybe when your executive director joined versus now, or maybe the building you were in before versus now, or maybe the field that you cultivated then versus now. So can you evoke impact by showing those pictures of the differences that you've made visually? I love that one. And then also, as you're creating these social posts, consider that this is for accessibility and visibility. So auto captions, if you're able to turn them on, and alternative text. So you're going to see those options as you're setting up your social media posts. That's going to allow things to be more accessible to all different types of people, and it's going to help pick up more in the algorithm. All right. Last slide here, and then handing you over for the good stuff. I wanted to talk about how you might apply some of these trends. So we just went over some of the popular trends that we're seeing. You might post using language related to loss aversion. We talked a little bit more about that, but the idea is that in your messaging, you're presenting the loss that the donor will see, the solution being the donation. And that example might be every day a student falls behind is a day of opportunity lost forever, instead of the more normal help students succeed academically. So again, think about how you're presenting the language, which I know everybody's working on in copywriting. You might also think about a volunteer point of view. So again, bring in volunteers to do a day in the life of. And your spin on that is you made this happen. Volunteers made this happen. Create a fundraiser. Donate today to help more volunteers make an impact. A before and after reel. So similar with the nostalgia. So showing some type of transformation over time. How do you make this visual? It might be great, of course, as you can imagine, for youth turning into alumni, environment being protected or animals being protected, community, but I could see it working for all different types of programs. I'll mention also that you can do mini challenges. So everybody talks about the ice bucket challenge, but it's evolved so much since then. And so what is that mini challenge that might be relatable to you that won't take too much effort? We all hear about the shaving the beard versus not shaving the beard. Will the husband do it? Won't the husband do it? The wife wants to, so they both create fundraiser pages. It's just one idea that was for March Madness. So what does that look like to you between board members, staff, volunteers, and your supporters? Just a couple more here. Again, understanding when you're applying these trends, the why. So why are donors doing that? How great would it be a short clip of why people work for you, volunteer for you, donate for you. So those are easy things you can make on your iPhone. Another one I love to engage with, myth versus fact. So that might be a post where you're debunking a myth about environmental legislation or about hospital care for youth, whatever that looks like for your organization. Of course, milestones and live streams. So what are your milestones throughout this campaign, throughout end of year? And where might you take opportunities to live stream to invite more folks in? Again, creative takeover. So who in your organization or close to you has a big network that you can invite into your social media channels for the day to create more excitement? And then, of course, $25 impact story. So if you want to hit those micro donors, those folks that typically aren't giving over 25 or 50 bucks, do an impact story on social media to tell why that donation type or amount matters. And if you have it, please, please make a bloopers and smiles reel. This is, family home videos style. We want to see the reality, the life, the joy that people are putting into nonprofits. And so a good way to do that, if you have the time, is to make a blooper reel. All right. So I'll skip these for time's sake today, but I also just wanted to make sure you knew some don'ts with social media, some why it matters, so why you shouldn't be doing it, as well as what you can do. So just some things to think about as you're posting. Also, what you might include in these social media posts. So of course, your official link or to your embeddable form, branding, a giving window, matching and goals. So take a look at this afterward, just to give you some ideas and inspiration. All right, that's my little blip here about social media and trends, and I'm handing it back over to Charlie to get into the good stuff. Thanks all.
Thank you for your patience, everyone. I am entirely embarrassed about my technology. Okay, so of course, you know from your writing class that you need to prioritize supporter well-being. So as much as we want to be, this child won't make it unless you X, Y, Z, that can be really difficult. We really have to position it as there is hope, there is why, this is why you're involved, and it is possible. Of course, you can always do some rage giving, but that will never last in a long-term relationship. It has to be organic feelings. So really, really ad looking stuff, excluding Instagram. Instagram ads work. People look for brands in Instagram. It's one of those weird little quirks from a different platform, but generally you want it to be like a cat picture and that you can comment on that looks like somebody would post. It looks organic. So people look, oh, did my friend post this? And then they can see that it's other content. Impact with visuals, we just went over that. Help donors feel like they're in your organization, that they're seeing something that's a little behind the scenes or exactly what happens as a result. And of course, community building. Do you know, like people that have less friends give less, which is, I know, seems like really obvious, but also crazy at the same time. There's a really interesting study about that. So building connections between your people is really great. And that's why I love to hear about Jennifer's Discord. It's one of those really amazing places. You do have to have really clear instructions on how to do that. It's a newer one, but it's just such a wonderful place to connect people because there isn't like the constant as much interruptions from everywhere, like if a bunch of different things coming at a bunch of different scrolling. It's really about in the moment people connecting, and it's just a wonderful place to go. Okay, so top content types that are really performing, of course, in different formats, video, those short videos are really great, but can be harder to get. I want to really acknowledge that. Some of you are like, how do I get all the video? That can be really challenging. Even if you can stitch some pictures together, Canva's really great for that. If you set up your nonprofit account, you can even use a lot more music and everything and just stitch together some pictures if that's all you can do. Really great. But you want to be reactive to any kind of breaking news. And that can mean a lot of different things. It can be like something fun that happened in the news. It doesn't have to be something devastating. It just has to be on topic. Stories from the heart, of course, we've all talked about that a million times. Behind the scenes, like we said, we want people to feel like they're in the moment, that they're part of the organization. Advocacy does really well. So proving the need, going over those numbers that, so like this many children will face food insecurity today, that kind of thing. So just really proving the need. So like why you do what you do and working to be inspired and like, that's why we do what we do and you're a part of that. Acknowledgement, so getting that people really, saying thank yous and acknowledging that this community does so much together. And then, of course, random, cute, funny, which can go right to the top depending on how it is. That's really the kind of, random. You never know, hit and miss, but that's the algorithm stuff. And then there's a couple other tips for how you're gonna get some of that content. And I think this is someone else.
These are your example slides.
Oh, right. I forgot I've captured video on that one. So that one's really an example of the video. So sorry, we put in different slides, but so yeah, capturing that video of that news event. Obviously, LA wildfires brought in more donors for LAFD than ever before. They're dealing with an onslaught and how to convert those emergency donors into long-term donors. Here's one of those topics that's really, really great to jump on and like really valuable to mission. And I don't want to miss this example. Canadian Cancer Society went huge with this and their response to some misinformation that went out on Joe Rogan's podcast. And they just responded in a really positive way on like, that's not right. This is right. That could be really bad for people. Not like trying to get into a fight with anyone, just really responding for the well-being for their mission. And you can see it got 2.1 million news like picked this up. So if anything is happening around in those really popular areas, watching those trends, responding. That is just a really great way. It doesn't have to be like crazy in the news stuff. It can be like little things that people are going to hear about.
A quick question about this,
Mhm.
this one, because I get what you mean. It would really drive a lot of views, as you see. But Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson are pretty political characters. Is that safe for nonprofits to be doing something like this in this climate?
I mean, yes, they absolutely got a huge response for this. They got a lot of great news coverage and it furthered their mission. Anything that's going to further your mission without risking, and they're not in politics, so it doesn't affect your 501c3. It's not attacking any kind of government figures. Don't do that ever, ever. But this is a way, it's open to conversation. People are going to argue about this. They did it on Twitter. People are going to be like, no, it like cured me. And those people are liars because it's just not factual. This furthered their mission. And you want to know that this furthers your mission. If people are putting out misinformation, it's your duty to combat that. It's your duty as part of what you're doing.
I love that. Thank you.
Again, this is a really good way of just jumping on something that has like a viral clip on a comedy bit that's gone viral. And you're like, your comment on this, and battling racism for this organization. This comedian really nailed it. They took a clip and they commented on it. And that really captures people's attention. People love comedy. You're reusing it. And if you're using small clips of things, that's usually okay. It can be like certain amount of time before you're going to get that copyright infringement. So just small clips. And you might get a cease and desist, and that is okay. You might be asked to take it down. That's okay. It's not going to be the end of the world. That's okay. And it's highly unlikely for this comedian that wants to further that to be like, take that down. I've never heard a case of that where it's furthering the mission.
So this would maybe be an example of trend jacking where there's a popular video and you can relate it to your mission or your organization and you're resharing. Okay, that's great. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Exactly.
interrupt. I was just
No, no.
reiterating what you said. That's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. You see something that's going big and you're like, that relates to my mission. I'm going to go quickly through a lot of these examples, but you'll be able to go through all of these. But this is just a really good one that's very like Gen Z and how they went really huge. You can see they have a massive following for such a teeny, tiny org. So go in and check out, just look up for examples. This is a great place to do that. If you want to press play, this is one of those videos, which is a really, really short clip of exactly behind the scenes, exactly what we talked about. It's nothing crazy. It's just a couple clips from like what they're doing. They're doing a renovation. That's amazing to people. They feel like, okay, this is what I'm donating for. That's tangible. I see that. So that's really
what
great.
HGTV is for, right?
Yes,
You can bring
yes,
HGTV to your
renovations.
users. I love that.
Absolutely. A couple more clips. Oh, I think it's the same one. So we got another one. Here's some examples of kind of pushing for, that challenge, getting some engagement. And it's a risky one with that Facebook fundraising, which is really, really a great reason why we're pushing to Colorado Gives Day, because it can be, and we'll have a couple examples. You put out this thing and then you don't reach your goal. People don't feel like they're with the community. They don't feel like, oh, I'm only one of like a few people. This is like an off thing. So Colorado Gives Day really offers an opportunity away from that, because it's just not a really great place for especially end of year giving. We really want to avoid that. But it's great. They're doing the hashtag Giving Tuesday, and we really know that's really important. And you can do it, the day after Colorado Gives Day. It's not too late to give. That great messaging. Of course, that matching of messaging, we want to do that. And this is just a straight video. Like if you just get your CEO or executive director to make a quick video being like, announcement, this is great. Whoever's the biggest face in your organization that people might recognize. This quotes are really great. They are shareable. We want to talk about shareability. You can see the logo really small down there. That would be Colorado Gives. Unless you're doing Giving Tuesday, there's just different ones. You want to kind of include that without overwhelming and making it too much of the center of attention. You just want to make sure you're including it, making sure you're keeping on top of that.
It's true. I'm a quote sharer. All
Yes.
the moms out there are sharing quotes. So yes,
This
hits home.
And Canva has a ton of that, like templates for that. And it's really like, just look up quotes related to your mission. These are some really comparable ones where it's like, okay, here's a quote. This is really great. Shareable, great, amazing. You can see the interactions on it. And here's just something that's really about, it has that, did you know? It has that same kind of thing, but it's just like teeny tiny. It's a little like just about the organization. It's not shareable content because that's not really like, you don't know if your friends like want to be pressured into donating or any kind of that, but they both ask for donations. They're just doing it in very different ways. So really compare one and the other and like, what's shareable? What would you want to share? Really ask yourself that.
I think it's the one with all the 602 shares, right? That first one.
It's crazy. Here's some really fun ones. So this is where you can go silly and funny. The middle one actually got picked up by the news because it went really big and people thought it was hysterical. You can just like making comments and you can relate these back to your mission too. You could do something like if you're, pets are one of those ones that's easier for social media, but what if you had your staff members, talking about, featuring their pets and in the office or anything like that. You can make shareable content if you're like, oh, okay, just testing different things. Don't be afraid to be like, okay, well, that's not really related to my mission. It is if you pull it together. But yeah, don't be afraid to go silly on things.
And if you're not an SPCA, that's okay. So like she said, I follow a nonprofit that, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, they have a really cute, their CEO is a cute Australian Shepherd. They took a video of him sitting at his desk, with a tie on or something like that. Tons of likes, so just the ability for animals to warm you up, even if it's not the mission, is really viral on social media.
Yeah, people Love animals. And getting that demo of people, the child-free demo, we're huge now and we have a lot more disposable income. So you want to target those people. So here's some really great ones that really capture the mission, some good examples for you to review. Really beautiful, like nice, colorful, amazing stuff that feels shareable. Some more examples. You can see these are really tangible, clear, what the mission is about. You have to we're going to go over a couple ones that aren't capturing the mission. You really need to be able to see that that Giving Tuesday, nice and prominent. We're going to have Colorado Gives on there, but it's not overtaking the image and the powerful visuals. Again, a couple more examples where you can go a little more fun with things. Notice that these are difference between linked posts and unlinked posts. You can see that you can click on this image. People are going to click on images. We'll go over that because the algorithm doesn't favor it. These are the ones you'll want to boost. Even just $5, $10 are going to go a long way. So these are great posts because they're eye-catching, they're clear and tangible, they're saying what the donation is going to. They're not too self-indulgent. They're about donor focus. They're what they can do because they're giving, you are the vessel to make the work happen, but they are attached to the cause. Gives opportunity to feel helpful. They answer why now. You always have to be, people will put things off, and they play into the algorithm.
I think we all know why now. November 1st, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to say it. I had to say it.
Okay, so this is a couple that we can really learn from. You can't read these. Number one, these are really, really cute. That's such a good, this is from the template. It's so amazing, but the contrast isn't there. These are one of the resources I highly recommend. The Colorado Gives is just the right size, but the contrast is bad. You can't read it, so it's not shareable. There's just a lot going on the other one. It's not readable. It's not something that you would be like, okay, I'm going to share that and people can, understand what's going on. Yes.
And so for the Colorado Gives one, would you suggest there'd be a solid block behind the text because the white text is not as readable?
Yes, you could do a solid block. There's also, could change the color of the text. There's different ways you can do that just so if you make sure you can read it.
Good point. And guys, just as a pointer here, you see the December 10th Colorado Gives Day logo. We did update our logos this year, so go ahead and remove any old ones with outdated dates. We want people to know that it's November 1st through December 9th, and that's still something we're working on statewide. And then here you'll see if you do have an old Colorado Gives Day logo, remove that as well. Just wanted to point that out as we're heading through these. These are awesome examples.
Incredibly important tip. That happens all the time. People are like, oh, I have it downloaded. And then no, make sure, and that goes across the team and anything, because you probably will reuse really great content. The algorithm doesn't really favor that. So move the logo to the other side this time. And then it looks like a new image to the algorithm. So it could get picked up more. So these are two things that are my kind of, I won't say pet peeves, but disappoint, they could do so much better. This one is that thing that we're the challenge, for every, comment, there'll be a pledge. As you can see, they only got 8 comments because it wasn't, maybe the visual wasn't quite powerful enough that, and there was just no way to push it in the algorithm. They obviously didn't boost it. So they really needed to, if that can be, a little embarrassing if you didn't reach your goal. So just be really careful and make sure you have staff on board to comment. That's a really, really important thing. And that picks it up in the algorithm. The more engagement that gets, that's just really important. On LinkedIn, especially, staff, goes out to the whole organization. We made a LinkedIn post. Everyone has to go comment on it and or share it.
That's such a good idea that I don't say out loud enough. We do that internally. Yeah. Hey, new hire, or here's our Colorado Gives Day post. Everybody share and and what a good idea.
Yes. It's great to get staff to do it because you can make them. And you can ask volunteers to do it too. That would be there. It's always really good if you have a volunteer list. Oh, I just want to do the other one really quick. Corporate posts. This is wonderful, and you definitely want to do your corporate posts. You want to thank Colorado Gives, but maybe asking maybe Jordan about like, why do you work, like doing something about somebody that works at Colorado Gives, or why they're inspired. Really talk about their personal story, that why they are a sponsor to your cause. That is the story here, not just their logo. And that connects people with their brand. It's much more valuable, and you actually get interactions.
So maybe the image should be updated to better communicate the why from the business. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, content, maybe room for an image of like who the face of that is really, really valuable. So here again, like great template, but these don't explain much about the mission. That is the problem here. Like it doesn't clearly state the mission. It doesn't answer all those questions. Why now? Why, like, what are you giving to? It's a little too vague, and you want to be careful with that. Imagine the amount of good we can do together. Make that clear about what that good is. Next one. These ones, just a lot going on, and again, not clear enough about what's happening here. And the maps are really hard to understand, so you make sure that you have really clear what's happening here, and just make it a little more understandable for anyone. There's got a lot of, so you end up doing a lot of inside baseball, and that can be a problem. Here it's really great, like lots of images. Again, you had that little $32 raise, so you want to avoid that during end of year. But this is just a little too much going on. You want to be careful. These are great to have lots of images, but make sure that people can concentrate. They have like these would have been great quotes to do one at a time. That's shareable. These are great content. You want to space those out, and these are great images. You want to space those out. It's a little harder to look at.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention here, just for this first one, I love that you noted the $32, and that's because it's created on Facebook, right? That's a Facebook fundraiser, and so that's how they display the metrics. When you're using a Colorado Gives fundraiser page or organization page, you do have control of your metrics, but it's not going to show on your Facebook post, which is great.
This was one of the most baffling posts that I saw. It was really like horrible fires, but we're happy camping. That was you want to make sure that you're reading the room. Again, a great template, but not quite capturing much about what they could be doing, and really capturing the moment and their mission. So just make sure that you're really, really communicating that and capitalizing on that image area for Colorado Gives. I don't understand why you would give, because they don't tell me why. This is a really, really clear example. Families, hope, and stability. More. We now know what is stability. We just need to be able to visualize that.
And also, who are these people, right?
You just want to know. It's just not enough there. So let's look at the anatomy of a post that really is really important. Here's the things you want to check off. Your cause is upfront and clear, and it's their cause, your cause, their cause. What is happening to address that issue, why they're taking action now, why they're taking action makes them amazing people. When you act, you're amazing. Clear CTA above the fold, so they kind of cut it off. This is where you can see more, so you want to make sure that ask is at least once above the fold, and then you can do it again below. Don't be afraid to put in hyperlinks, they pop. And linked post, so that's a difference. So here you put in a link and it automatically populates the image. Make sure that image is updated and clear, and all of the wording is correct. You should have that availability on the website. Jordan, can they do that from Colorado Gives, correct?
Say that
They
again?
can the image populates obviously from the link from the
Yes,
direct
correct.
Colorado Gives link.
Thank you. Yes. So
Yes.
one element of Colorado Gives, where you can update social media aspects, is in the settings of a fundraiser page or your organization page. So you can update the share assets, any supporting language, and that's all in the settings. Thank you for reminding me about that.
Mhm. So yeah, when you're sharing that up, don't be afraid to update the image that's going to populate. That's going to help people see new things. If the last image didn't work, try a new one. You want to keep pushing that through. This is a linked post, so it needed to be boosted. This is, clearly got a lot of interactions, lots of people clicking through, people click images. So if you want it, even if seriously, if you can put $5 behind things, if you can't get the budget, really, really valuable. And you want to make sure the landing page is coordinated. So the image that's here, of course, that will be populated on the Colorado Gives page. So you really coordinate so they know they click through, they know it's like the same kind of content. Unlinked image, if you aren't boosting, if you're not going to boost, unlinked images are we're going to be favored by the algorithm. So those are good. That's just an image without it populating from there. So it wouldn't have the button or that little part underneath. And just for the hashtags that you see here, you can see there's just one hashtag. Facebook favors like just a couple hashtags. And Reddit, there's none. And everywhere else, you can go to town, go crazy. As many as you can fit in your Twitter or your Instagram, especially, just go crazy with them. Anything that you find really relevant, as long as that number one is, Colorado Gives, and then their mission as your mission. You obviously want to make those relevant.
I didn't know that. So you don't have to focus on the hashtags as much on Facebook. They don't have as much weight or pull versus like an Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah, it's still not fully, because it's an older demo on Facebook. It just doesn't resonate in the same way, because when you click a hashtag, you can see all the people that are posting there. It's really great for measuring the impact, though. So looking later about like how many times that was shared and looked at, like that can be really, really valuable, especially if you're tagging yourself or hashtagging yourself. That's really kind of more what it's used for on Facebook, but it's not extremely valuable except for that thing. And to just really make being like, yeah, so hashtag, this is a real thing kind of thing. It kind of validates when you're doing like Colorado Gives Day is a real thing. People aren't used to it. There's a hashtag, so it's probably real, and people can click on and be like, oh yeah, I validate this. Lots of people are posting on about it.
Awesome. And yes, we do have hashtags. They're in the toolkit if you want to grab them.
Grab them.
Yeah.
So just a little bit more about what like makes that post good. Don't be afraid to use those links. We mentioned that. No need to talk about yourself, because SBCA appears 3 times without talking, being like, you should give to blah, blah, blah. The logo is there. The SBCA, it's in there, right? And like the purpose is to get them through to the landing page where you will be everywhere. So that's really important. And make yourself news. If something happens at your organization, do a press release immediately. Like maybe it'll get picked up, maybe it won't. Do a press release, make yourself news whenever you can. The pay-to-play reality, we've gone over this a lot, but I just want to do between boosting and ads. So boosting is quick visibility for like a shorter term activity. So obviously around Colorado Gives Day, doing a couple boosts leading up to it, so you're learning. And then Facebook ads is a kind of more strategic growth. So when you're doing that acquisition strategy that we talked about in email, ads would be more of a thing, because it would be a little more long-term, because you can the algorithm will get better and better on that. So like a longer term one is the way to spend your money there. And there's a couple more tips in there you can review.
I love the idea of testing a couple of these, especially a boost, because it's a little bit less work. What would you suggest for folks to test in October? Because of course we don't want people to go and donate now. So what might be an alternative to either thank them, make them feel good, or remind them about what's upcoming?
You want to test moving them to the page. So you want to test linked posts. So you want to text, or you wanted to calls to action. So anything that will push, obviously, like there's an article, it's like something that's exciting happening in the community. And then of course, like getting that branding in, being like, oh, so save the date kind of on the bottom there is always good. Or it can be a save the date link and like more about it, making sure it's shareable, being like, did you know XYZ? Like, here's some really amazing stuff. Just trying to like boost linked posts because that's what you're going to do for Colorado Gives. It's in the plan as well. So here I just wanted to do between like what is this, so an image post and a linked post. So just really, really clear, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see that, and you can see that despite it being animals, it's just an image post, and it's not quite going to capture as the same amount. BCA pays a lot in boosting.
I
So you
think
can
it probably pays off, it seems like, right?
Oh, yes. A lot of their ads deliver like a 17-1 to return. It's very excellent. Once you've like worked it out, it's been many, many years. They've done, about 13 years of building it and figuring it out. And each year their budget gets bigger and it pays off more and more each year because they're learning. So I think they started with like $1,500 in the first year. And then now it's like $100,000. But now they have they raise, I think 45 million a year now. So it's like a really, really great way to start. But always just testing, piloting, figuring it out. Not everyone can get it. You're not going to get it on the first try, probably. So spend smart, boost with purpose. Clear calls to action are the ones you want to boost. Capture that value, link to owned assets. Don't link elsewhere except for like you own the Colorado Gives page. That's your page. It'd be great if you embed the form because then you're sending people to your site. You have more control there, and that improves your SEO every time somebody visits your site. The embedded form is always going to be superior, but if you don't have that control, totally understandable. You still are going to, and it's great because you're going to get those analytics and everything still back from Colorado Gives. So, do strategic acquisition. Don't just be like gift certificate, this and that. You want to make sure that acquisition is aligned and, track performance. Obviously, you want to make sure you're learning more about that. And yeah, for Colorado Gives Day specifically, giving like those big giving days, you want to set aside a big chunk of your budget or whatever you can get.
It's true, because we're relying, we as Colorado Gives Foundation are putting a large amount of money into bringing new donors in statewide and awareness. But a lot of what you can do with these ads is bringing donors back, and in your area or by persona type, right? You can target people who are like your donors. So I'm really excited about this. I did want to ask, so you said that it's not good to link to an outside article, for example. So if you're a bird organization and there's a bird watching article, what you should do is create a blog and talk about that article and send people to that blog on your website. That's interesting.
Send people to blog, but also link out in that blog post, because the more, for people who don't know about SEO, the more you cross-link to other sites, your value goes up as a site because it shows the value that you're connected to credible, good sites that also have good SEO. So you want to send it to your site, but then you can link out to it.
I love that. Yeah, and it makes it more personal too. It's someone's take on the bird watching article that's linked in there instead of just sending out. Thank you.
And then you have pop up to your Colorado Gives Day page. So just a couple platform best practices, community and stories. This is massively tested. I've gone to the big Meta conferences. This is really the places that you want to look at. Community and stories are really important on Facebook. Visuals and engagement, Instagram, Twitter is real-time news. I know if a lot of people are still on Twitter, it's a really dangerous place for your brand. You have to be extremely careful there. So I know it's a lot of places people have fled, but if you are doing something, that's what you do. LinkedIn, professional and impact, achievements, insights, but also personal stories from leadership. That's a great place for those corporate sponsors to say why they're attached, and then you link to them, and really getting them to cross post is really, really valuable because then you're increasing your visibility. I know that there was a question about LinkedIn, great timing, about boosting there. You should be testing boosting. It's a lot more expensive on LinkedIn. So really strategically looking at, okay, if a post is doing well, that's the one you want to boost because you know it's already going to go. You know that the boost will be worth it. So there's a little bit of a different strategy there, and just making sure that all of your staff are also cross-posting everything.
And we do a lot of LinkedIn stuff, and it is more expensive, but you can see higher returns in partnership, in engagement, in potential donors, because people who are on LinkedIn typically more educated business owners or professionals. So there's a lot of benefit, even though it is a little bit more pricey.
And if those are long-term, more long-term, like you might not see immediate returns, but those long-term nurtured relationships. So that's kind of a long-term strategy for your organization. Okay, so TikTok, the other ones, TikTok, authenticity and trends. You really want to make things more intimate there. Really behind the scenes, really authentic, like really, really clear that this is, the real your organization and those trends. Always get your staff dancing if they're willing. YouTube is depth and storytelling. It's a really great place as well. You do want to be on YouTube, but you don't want to send people from your Facebook to YouTube. Put the YouTube on your website, put the video on your website, embed it, just like that Colorado Gifts form. You can embed it on the page that has your embedded Colorado Gifts form. That's really, really great. Obviously, Pinterest is visual and discovery. Reddit, if you aren't on there, I highly recommend it. It's kind of the new Twitter. In a lot of ways. I know there's Blue Sky and other ones, but Reddit has, about 1.1 daily users. It's like, again, a highly educated platform. So generally, but keep it simple with press releases. Just make sure you own your handle and you can put press releases there and keep it simple. We're just, I want to make sure you have the landing page strategy. So making sure you have those linked image posts, integrated asks, and direct donation forms. So those, especially in Colorado Gives, you want to do that embedded page right to your donation form. And that consistent content that we talked about. So obviously that's great because Colorado Gives will automatically populate. You know what's going to be there, and you can update that in the settings so it matches your post day to day. Don't be afraid to update it, consistently weekly, so that it's kind of going with your theme. Doing that countdown. Don't be afraid to go in there, update. It's even easier. It's embedded, and you can update the content above on your website if that's easier. But yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. Keep it current.
A really good point. Yeah, you have control of your donation page content. You have control of your embeddable form as well as any other pages. So it could be updated as a match happens, or as Giving Tuesday happens, or as major donors are targeted. So I love that.
Yeah. If you see a post doing really well, update it to that content. So inviting post likers, we're going to go over that. Lots of people don't know about that. And these are all linked, so you can see more about it. But there's also an ad library that's linked, and you can look up certain organizations that are similar to yours, see what ads they're doing. You can look at everything, all that's happening on Facebook and Meta to see what other people are doing. And you can go and you can use that to inspire your own ads. Custom audiences, I have a little screenshot on there, and there's a full link on how to do it. But just like Jordan said, you can see people that, targeting people that follow your page. Follow your page, there's a lot of data. People that follow your page often aren't donors necessarily. Maybe 10% tops are usually donors. So it's important to take that, make sure that you're not overspending and making sure you're testing different audiences and what actually works. Could be a lookalike audience, people that don't follow but have the same values might be good, and we'll look at that. So here, this is inviting likers. Just click on, see how that little thumbs up, little 156. If you click that number, all of these people, you can see that you can invite them. So you just click the invite, you just go through every day, anytime likes your post, make sure they're following your page. They will get a direct ask in Facebook that they're likely to click, and they'll be followers, and converting people to getting more of your messages. Super simple, a daily, at least weekly task that you want to do. The quicker you do it, the more likely they are to follow your page.
Yeah, it's manual. I remember doing it when we launched our local community foundation because no one even knew what a community foundation was. But by engaging with the people that liked. So I think that that's a genius hack if you're not doing it.
And really, really important to do on boosted posts, because those are going to be the ones that aren't necessarily following your page. Here's a look at what the ad library looks like. So you can change the country, you can see what people are doing, and you just search and looking at categories, looking at nonprofits, environmental, whatever your category is, or you can look up different organizations. It's super easy and really interesting to see what other people are doing. And these are those custom audiences. So you just go into your business manager and there's one that's called audiences. And you can see that there's engaged with your page, people who visited, anything that's going to be recorded on Facebook, people that have donated to you obviously on Facebook. So it's probably not a big amount of people, but it is in there. And you can retarget those people and push them onto the website, which is where you want them, because you don't really get the data from Facebook. It's not super valuable. So yeah, link there again to make sure that you can see exactly how to do that. Okay, back to content again. This is more tips. Build your content bank. Great to get a shared Google Drive that everyone can put stuff into. It's everyone's job in your organization to collect content. You have to make that really clear. I highly recommend that comes right from the top, making sure everyone knows end of year is the most important time of year. You can get 30% of your entire 30 plus of all of your donations in the last 2 months of the year. So super, super, super important. 30, 40, it's more like 40. It's really, really a lot. So be really, really aggressive with your content collection at end of year. That identity-based messaging, and kind of a working at pantry approach. So lots of details there that will give you some more tips that you can review. So here is that link out to the surveys that I give, and this is a great, just copy, update your organization details and send that out to volunteers. Are so valuable for stories because they are volunteering for a reason, and that capturing that reason is a very heartfelt story, and that can be all of your content for the year if you have enough volunteers. It's just the most incredible things come from that. And it's really specific what you have to ask them. It's not like, when did you start? Like those kind of little details, but like what motivated them? What moments made them proud? What is the moment that they remember most? Like that from volunteering that really captured their heart. Who was the person that inspired them? Maybe you can get an old-timey photo is really amazing. My grandmother, that really captures that Facebook audience when they're like, oh, who was that? I want to know. So make sure obviously that you're protecting privacy as well. Here's a few more tips on collecting those stories, prompts, but you have the survey, so making sure you use that. It has that all templated out for you, so it's really easy to grab that and push it out. I just want to make sure there's enough time for questions. I'm pushing through a little bit. Making sure that
if you can hang on, we love it. If you have to go to another meeting, we have everything obviously in Canvas, and there'll be some follow-up actions. Just wanted to say that out loud for everybody. This is being recorded too.
That multi-channel integration, super important. We talked about this in email, making sure your post and your email goes out at the same time. The more people see it, the more likely they are to act in that moment. Influencers, we do want to mention this quickly. If you do have anyone, you should be reaching out right now to see if there's anyone out there. And everyone knows somebody, so this is a good thing maybe to add to the survey. Be like, do you know anyone that has, even just 5,000 followers? Those people have a huge impact. Those micro influencers actually have some of the best returns. And those micro influencers, this is where tons of lots of people are moving their ad budget into influencers. You don't necessarily have to pay, especially small organizations. People are going to be passionate about you, but in the long way ahead in the world, lots of that's where organizations are moving. But right now, it's focusing on just building those relationships. Somebody knows someone. Making sure you're looking at the metrics that you can look quickly on every single platform is going to have your metrics. Look what's happening, seeing what posts are getting those engagement. If you're not following closely one by one, you can look back every 2 weeks and be like, okay, we should do more like that.
And pivot, right? You know, again, a
Pivot.
marathon, not a sprint. What I love about digital fundraising, if it's not working, we pivot. I wish I had that Friends meme, you know, with the couch, but just wanted to remind everybody, if something's not going well, you can pivot and try something else for Colorado Gives Day or end of year.
Every post is a test, every single one. Okay, really clear roadmap. Let's run through it. This is something you'll review. It's quite detailed. So this is something that you're going to go through one by one, but each week, what you should be doing that week to prepare. This includes the testing. These are all the resources. Please check out the resources. They're so amazing. Getting those updated logos, all of those things. Let's quickly move through these. Week 2, so early visibility. 3, this one's really about community building, making sure that you have that content bank checked in, that you're going to have that for the rest of November and December, building into that. Building momentum, you're getting closer and closer. So here's some examples of what you should be doing. That storytelling and stewardship, going back each week, you're going to learn something new. So bringing that back around, just like Jordan said, pivot and use content that's working. If it's not working, keep trying. You can post endlessly. Here is the urgency. Really dig into that urgency. Post about limited time match. I think that's the early one, Jordan. There's what can you just
Yes, sorry, had to unmute. Yeah,
Okay.
so a great time in that early phase, November 1st onward, is a great time to focus on monthly recurring gifts. So there's a $250,000 match for anybody that sets up a new monthly gift. And of course, if you have any other matching gifts going on, but that can that first couple weeks gives people the time to set up recurring gifts. And then exactly what she's saying, in November, the excitement starts heading towards Giving Tuesday, where we'll have activations around the state. And then of course, Colorado Gives Day.
Great. Here's your heavy push. You want to double down. This is really if you only have money for this timing. Obviously, you want to try those little tiny micro $5 boosts, but here's where you really want to push. This is the big time to spend any money you can. Obviously, I put 50, 75, but the bigger, the better. Here's the final prep, and Giving Tuesday is a great test run. Here's where you kind of want to throw it out there. Here's your ideas that you were thinking for Colorado Gives. It's nice that it comes before, so you can be like, okay, here's anything that you know that what worked and didn't work. Perfect, because you can really optimize everything for that amazing. I know I have friends in Colorado and they've talked about it, so I know that it's quite a big thing, and people will know, and they love it that it stays. They know that it stays local, and that's a really great branding part of over Giving Tuesday. So that daily countdown, tagging partners, getting influencers, tagging really like specific people you know are going to share. That's really good. Don't tag in any boosted post, because that is one click they could do differently. You want one single CTA, one single place they can click. Just not in your boosted ones. You do want to do it elsewhere. Okay, big one. Post constantly, at least 2 to 3 times. Give people updates, or how, talk about, you could say, somebody stepped in with a $500 gift and it's so incredible and you can't believe it. Thank publicly, boost those posts. Really make sure your emails are going out. If you're sending out 2-3 posts, don't be afraid to send out 2-3 emails. That's really common.
That's true. And just a reminder that December 9th, we send out a big thank you email to everyone. That's really general. It's from Kelly Duncan, and there's typically some kind of video in there. This year, we are going to make the video a little bit more, I don't want to say generic, but usable for multiple audiences. So that might be something you grab to share. And then, of course, we'll be posting on social media too. So feel free to share those posts. Charlie, would you say that's helpful, or should they be posting their own stuff?
Do everything. Everything, all of it. So again, looking back at that toolkit, there's a link to it. Don't be afraid. We just want to make sure that you have all those resources. And of course, using everything that you've learned so far. So big picture, here's kind of like what everything that we've talked about, you know, developing that content plan, so important as something, securing that budget. These are like steps you can do ahead of time to get everything going. And soon you'll be applying this all year round. You're going to take this and like this big intense part is something that is a really great like testing ground and learning period, looking in January being like, how can we apply this year round? Okay, I know, sorry. There's just so much to cover. Make sure you go get the Canvas link. So again, we want to do that one post and tell us why. Looking at review and examples, and then yeah, create your post and assignment, and hopefully that was helpful.
That was really helpful. I feel like I learned a tidbit or tip on every single slide. Charlie, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I wanted to open it up. I know we're a minute or two over, but I've done that so many times before myself. There's so much good stuff to cover. Any questions that stand out, Becky or anybody else that's been in the chat that we need to cover now? And if not, we're going to do that in Canvas for you.
I did see one. I think it looks like, Jordan, you were answering when it relates to Canvas. And Charlie, you kind of answered, but they were asking how many times a day should you be posting? Is there a frequency there? And then one other question was, would you recommend boosting on LinkedIn if that's their preferred platform? So some of this you can answer in the forums and I let them know that, but the big one was like, how many times a day should we post that I saw?
So I put in week by week exactly like what is optimal and what is, you know, a minimum. So there's two options there. It really does depend because of Facebook and the major algorithm, how small your audience is. The smaller your audience, you wouldn't post more than once a day. That would be the maximum. Really kind of, you know, 4 times a week is really good. If you have under, you know, a couple thousand followers, that's quite a small audience. The bigger your audience, the more Facebook demands from you. So if you put too many out with a small audience, it won't show them. But if you don't do enough, then it doesn't think you're relevant. So making sure you're out there. The bigger audience, the more you have to post, but there are some minimums and recommended ones in the week by week.
And then the other question that other people seem to be interested in, any tools like Buffer or others to let you know, like to post on multiple platforms?
So if you have more than 2, 3 platforms, like if you're on 4 different areas, then you might definitely need it. But the problem is that like each platform really demands a different style. So that can be an issue. You do have to customize it to platform if you want it to pick up on the style and the audience for that platform. So it's better than nothing if you can get something out there, but really kind of important to play into what people are demanding from that audience.
Meaning you should still schedule your posts if you can, because that gives you flexibility to react in real time. But maybe if you're scheduling them, just schedule them for Facebook because that's a certain type of post and structure, right? Versus Instagram. Okay, that's interesting.
Well, with Butter, it just like pushes it. You do one thing and it pushes it out to every platform that you're on. So all your connected accounts.
So you're not able to choose.
You can choose that, but like that's kind of what it's for, to try and save you time. But if you're going to be doing unique, just go into your platform. Don't pay for anything extra when you don't have to, because it's free to just do it within the platform.
Good point. Well, awesome. We have, we're over time a little bit, but I know everybody's sticking around. Anything else before we hop off today?
Do you mind if I say something, Jordan?
Please, yeah.
I just want to encourage again, because this can seem so overwhelming, but I do want to say that the quality of your content and steady posting is the first place you should start. If you can't post 2 to 3 times a day or 5 times a week. Develop a calendar and just make sure the quality of your content is speaking to people, and use those monetary boosts. That, to me, that really stood out, like how to monetize the boost versus the ad, because if you don't have the resources to do this all the time, it can seem really overwhelming. And steady and quality are so important, and then use that monetization to help yourself.
Yeah, there's a calendar that has integrated with social and email and everything. I know it looked really big and overwhelming that we did in the email class, but that is a great place to start. It shows you kind of what kind of rhythm, if you can get into. But yeah, I saw that somebody has a 750, just starting building out their audience. So like, yeah, you can definitely do 3 times a week. It's really like a good steady pace for a small audience. But like as it grows, you're going to be posting more and more. So make those posts count, and yeah, get all that. Try to really remember the tips and like what goes into a great post. But yeah, like Jennifer said, it's like quality over quantity for sure.
And one thing you said, Charlie, that I picked up on was, hey, if that post is doing great, use it again. How would someone repurpose that?
So, so if it's previously done well, you can repurpose that image, flip it around, and like it's less likely to be, punished by the algorithm. Adding the logo on a different side, it's just like slightly different. So, using the same image over and over again is punished by the algorithm. They want fresh content. So you may, if you see it doing really well, like it's going really well organically, and it has a really clear CTA, you can consider boosting it then. That's really great for LinkedIn, especially like looking at how it's doing now. Super valuable. LinkedIn really getting into your audience targeting too. There's this, LinkedIn's a tricky one, but because you need lots of posting from people within the organization. Really, your social media manager should have access to the executive director's account and be posting from there regularly with a lot of content. Obviously, they have final say, but sign off. But that should be your number one priority amongst the organization, and then having all of those posts shared or coordinated with your actual business. That is really what's performing really well. And then making sure you're responding and messaging to the people that are commenting and trying to build that relationship. It's a good,
Awesome.
it's really,
Thank you
really
so
good
much.
long-term payoff, but like it's some work for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and maybe that's something you tackle in the new year, but it's in your plan to tackle. Do what you can. And gosh, we've kept you another 10 minutes. So thank you so much. We just love hanging out, and we love talking about this stuff. And we're so glad you're here with us. So Charlie, Becky, Jennifer, and the whole ISP team, thank you guys so much. And we'll see you online.
Jordan, everyone, do we want to stay on just for a couple minutes after, and
Sure.
just so we can make sure all the questions are going to get covered in the forum?
Of course. All right, guys. See you later.
Bye,
Have a great
everybody. Thank you
week.
so much.